The last time I had this seafood salad was about 6 or 7 years ago when I was in Italy. It was such a light, bright, happy style of salad because it had so much fresh seafood in it. I've got a combination of mussels, scallops, prawns, and some squid. And what makes it so special is it's got crunchy, bold flavours to it. So lots of celery through it, capers, some olives, and what ties it all together is some rice. You could also substitute it for pasta if you like. Right, let's cook our mussels first. So I'm just going to turn this onto a high heat. Whenever you're cooking mussels, you want this pan to be really, really hot so they open quite quickly. So I've got some blue lip mussels here. I like the ones that are not too large. I actually find the meat sweeter. So get mussels that are about this size, and you know they're blue lip because they've got that distinct blue colour on them. I've just scraped them and taken the beard off them and they're ready to go. And you know these are fresh. See how that's slightly open? When you just tap it like that, it closes quite quickly. Stunning. And they should smell like the ocean, which these do. So in with the mussels, good sizzle there, and some white wine. And then the lid goes on immediately. And they're going to take moments to open. While they're cooking, some aromatics that I'm going to add to this broth to cook the rest of the seafood. So some lemon, and we just want to perfume the broth. So I'm just going to add 2 lemon peels. So just use a speed peeler like this. 2 strips of lemon. That means we can take them out easier later on. To this, I'm going to add some chilli. So I'm using a long chilli here. If you want it to be hotter, use a smaller chilli. I'm going to cut that in half, seeds and all. That's going to give it some warmth, and 3 cloves of garlic. Again, no need to chop. We just want to bruise them, and that's going to flavour the broth that's going to cook all this seafood. All right, let's have a look at our mussels. Ah, fantastic. Nothing beats the smell of fresh mussels cooked. And see how they've opened up? Now I'm just going to take them out. And there's this misconception that if some of your mussels are only slightly open or closed, then they're not good. That's not true at all. It's all about the smell. If they don't smell fresh, then that's a sign to get rid of the meat. And if they're still closed or just barely open like that, you just have to use a little bit of force to open them. The meat is still very fresh. Okay, and all of this liquid is now going to be used. So I'm not going to season this just yet because it's going to be salty. Naturally, these have been raised in the water. So we'll just taste it at the end. If we need a little bit more salt, we can add it later on. So in with our chilli, add that to the pan, our 2 lemon strips and some garlic, and then in with our seafood. So I'm going to add our squid first. Beautiful fresh squid. Scallops, these are large scallops, so they're going to take a little longer to cook too, so we'll put them in. And just a few prawns. And this is going to gently poach in this aromatic broth. So I'm going to turn the heat to a very low heat so we've got full control of that. Now, while that poaches, we can get on to the salad. So I've got 2 cups of cooked rice. I'm using a long grain rice. You could use a short grain rice for this too. I'm going to add some celery. Now, when I'm using raw celery like this, I think it's a great idea just to use that speed peeler, just to lightly peel it. I know it's one extra step, but I find it quite fibrous, and I think that's not very appealing when it comes to raw celery. So this is just one of my little tips, is just to peel it, and then we'll still get that lovely crunchiness that we all like with raw celery. So I'm going to use just half of the leaves because there's plenty of flavour in the leaves. That can go into our bowl. And then just with the rest of the celery, just thinly slice it on an angle. It's got a really crisp texture, but quite a sweet flavour too. Okay, that should be plenty. That can go into our bowl. Put that in. Along with some cherry tomatoes. Have a look at these cherry tomatoes, still on the vine, plump and ripe. So sweet and fully ripened in the sun. So I'm going to cut these into quarters and we can add them to the bowl. I'm keeping the vegetables to a minimum because it's all about that seafood and letting that shine. And we need a pop of saltiness from some Sicilian olives. I've just taken the pip out. Some capers, of course, lots of capers. And lots of parsley. So I'm going to roughly chop the parsley. Don't want it to be super fine. And we'll pop that in. Okay, and that's the base of our salad done. While that seafood continues to cook, I can do the very relaxing job of taking the meat out of our mussels so the meat can go in one and we can discard all of these shells. All right, let's have a look at the seafood. Oh, smells good. Perfectly cooked. And what I'm going to use is just a slotted spoon to take this seafood out, and we'll add it to our rice. I don't mind if it's still warm. In fact, I think it tastes better when everything is lovely and warm. And just that chilli and the lemon peel we can discard. And of course, if you wanted to do this with fish, by all means, add a little bit of white fish to this. That would taste fantastic. Okay. I'm going to use some of that poaching liquid for our dressing. So before I add it, very important to have a taste of it to see how salty it is going to be. Oh, that's so delicious. Fantastic. And it is salty, which is what we want because this is going to season our salad. So 2 spoonfuls of that liquid. And our beautiful mussels, they can go in. Any of the liquid in there can also go in. And we need some extra zing for the dressing, so a good squeeze of lemon juice over the top of that. And to tie it all together, some extra virgin olive oil. Okay, just so I can be as delicate as possible, I like to use a spoon and a fork to toss everything together. It smells so good. And we'll plate up a generous platter. Pop that in the centre, pile it up. It certainly feels like an Italian salad with all those colours, the red, the white and the green there. It's certainly a striking salad that takes no time at all to make. And I love that it's made with rice because those little grains of rice are just going to mop up all of that lovely seafood broth that we made there and the olive oil. The flavours of the garlic and the chilli are going to come through. I really like this salad, and if you've got some friends coming over and you want something fresh, healthy, then this is your option. It's also a showstopper. Look how pretty that looks on that platter.